The Archives. The song that came out of nowhere, the song that I had instinctively made back in February 2022. This was not going to be on the album because it did not exist yet. The moment I finished it, I decided to throw away the other song that was in its spot. That song was No Good Deed, track 2. And I thought, storyline wise, it had nothing to do with the album. But the Archives did. I remember writing it, and one of the lines that immediately connected was that I'm done taking compressions. Gotta get it off my chest. I had to get it off my chest. I think it was October of 2021. Then it was November. Then it was December. Back when I had posted the end of year collage that people usually do. I know I do it. That's this collage full of these amazing memories that you created over the year. And well, I remember the caption was that it was coming. That I knew in the next year, next day, things would get significantly harder. And that things would end up badly. Things would get worse. Things would be a challenge, something I'd never faced before, hardships that I will have to face. And I was correct, you know? So here it is, January, right? And I'm at home. My dad calls me and he's like, pick me up. Normally when I pick him up, it's if the car had broken down on the side of the road somewhere. That was not the case. He said to pick him up because he couldn't see the road. The lines on the road had gotten so blurry that he was afraid to drive home. So he calls my uncle, he calls me, I pick him up. I drive all of us home. And that's when it began. We take him to eye doctor, and the eye doctor says that they can't fit him for glasses because he has cataracts in both eyes. And then somewhere down the road, he goes to the ER, and they say he has glaucoma. And for those who know, cataracts can be fixed. Glaucoma, not so much. With the Archives, February, I think it was the day before I had just come off from a video shoot. My cousin's song, Malia, she was recording a music video for her upcoming single of that month. It's called Love Bomb. And you know, me and her and Gabe, we created a good video. And I think the next day, that's when it was. It is 3, 4 something in the morning, and I am already up and about because I can't sleep. I've never been able to sleep like that So I'm up all hours of the night. I'm in the kitchen, and my mom calls out to me, and she yells my name. I run into the room, and I see him there in the bed, unresponsive, not moving. Eyes weren't moving. And at that point, I was so numb, I didn't really know how to process this. I had thought that, like, this was the end of the road, that things wouldn't get better from here. Things would, I really thought I had lost him at that second. At that moment, I was in shock. I am lucky. I am happy that he's still here. In that moment, I really thought, this was, that was it, that this was the day I would grow to hate for the rest of my life. That was the day. She saved his life. My mom. She gave him chest compressions. He was responsive by the time that the ambulance got there, and took him to the hospital. Seizure, mild stroke. Apparently they said that you're supposed to let seizures happen, like, completely, and not do anything. We didn't know that because we never dealt with that before. I've never dealt with that before. Nobody in my family has had one. But after that hospital visit, he was in the hospital multiple times. He finally went to rehab. They're trying to help him gain his balance, because although he can walk, his legs aren't that strong, but he can still walk. So he's in rehab. And that is when I was so depressed with everything that's been going on. And this is when I started making those demos. This is when I made the demo for the archives. I kind of had the idea looming in my head before this. It was still January, I believe. It was at least December. I had already had the name for the song. I just didn't know what the song was going to be about. I remember talking to my cousin, Malia. We were texting about it, and she was, I believe she was showing me vocals for one of her songs that she was doing, talking about music and writing and stuff. And then I talked about the archives, just trying to figure out what the melody was. We're just trying to figure out what to do. And I had something already, and we refined it as time went on. On my way to the rehab, I would add on to the archives little by little. I think this took a week maybe, until I got the final result. With the archives, the layers are important. Just like the layers in life are important, the layer in the song are important. The first thing that I did was record the vocals, and I recorded the lows first, and then the mids and the highs. So the low harmonies was the integral part of the song. It's what made it so emotional for me. And it's unorthodox because normally people would go for the main, the lead vocal, but I decided to go with the lowest, and people ask me, why'd you do that? Oh no, I just like the sound of it. That's when I had finally finished the chorus. I had already had most of it written. After a couple days, I had pre-chorus and the chorus done. And all I had to do was just do the verses. I recorded the verses bar by bar, so a couple lines by couple lines, and I think I did well. I think that was a much smoother process. That's how I did it, as fast as I could. Then I had the ad-libs. I wanted to do a Kanye West / Travis Scott type of ad-lib. I wanted this drawn out reverb and this auto-tune, and I wanted this Kanye 808s and heartbreak type of thing going. And I think the sound that I created for the archives is along those lines, trapped along the lines of the confines. The ad-libs are spacey. It's like I recorded them in a hall, in a cathedral, something. It's like it's ghostly in here, it's haunting. Put so much reverb that you really felt like you were in the song. This was the first time that I had gone to Lorenzo's place. He's the one who has mixed and mastered and recorded this current version of the album. Malia introduced me to him, took me over there, and we recorded the archives. It was important that the archives sounded exactly like the demo. Otherwise, I wasn't going to do that song. Aside from Fully Charged, I think that this song is one of my bests. I think it's maybe first or second, I don't know. So I'm riding in the car with Gabe on the way to his house, and I believe I was with him and Tira, and the baby. And, you know, we're all just listening to the archives at its rawest form. We're listening to the demo, and we're just talking about how, you know, sonically and lyrically, this is a new avenue for me. This is something that, I mean, I hadn't made anything like this before. He originally was supposed to record the archives. You know, as things, because like I said, as things got harder, right? Things were increasingly getting worse. Less time on my hands, I felt like. That is when, you know, I had less time to go far away from my house. You know, I needed to be close enough to where if something happened, I can drive on home. So what does the archives mean? The archives is a place. It's a physical place. I'm sure there's a lot of archives out there. The archives is also, it's a physical place, but it's a digital place, right? You archive your photos on Instagram. You archive your stories, your videos. You archive things that maybe you want to hold on to, but maybe you don't want to get rid of. That is me. I archive moments in life that I did not necessarily want to revisit, but that I didn't want to forget because they did happen. They did happen. They took place. And you can't just pretend like that never happened before. It's part of your journey and how you got here. It's part of the character development. With the archives, it's the second song, and it's this catalyst that I think really makes the rest of the album flow smoothly. Something that no good deed could ever do. Chill. It comes right after Heartbeat. And the last words that I say in Heartbeat is, what do you do this for? What am I making this album for? What do I make music for? Why do I rap? And I think that I rap because it's an outlet. I rap because it's for me. It's also for other people. I rap because I feel like it helps me cope. I know it's cheesy to say, I know everybody says it. I rap because it keeps my heartbeat going. That's what I feel like. I'm trapped along these confines. I'm trapped around these confines. Mid-pandemic. Now I am bored out my mind. In this moment of life, suffering, trying to survive, holding on. And I'm undecided, right? I'm undecided on what I want to do with my life and where I'm going. You know, my dad asked me what my plan was, what I'm going to be doing. And even, you know, why do I make music? And I just answered it. But around that time, when he asked this question, honestly, I did not know. So, you know, I talk about packing up and all this other stuff, but that's another thing. I archive memories, but I archive physical places. This house, originally, around February, all the way to like May, we were supposed to move because things had gotten that bad. Out of pure will, because we had run out of luck at that point. Pure will and determination. We are still here. We are still here. However long that lasts though, that's not up to me. I feel like that's up to the universe at this point. That's up to the man with the plan, right? So I was really trying to figure out how I would let this place go. And eventually I figured it out. I figured out that the memories I created in this place can be taken with me, and that I can create new ones elsewhere. I feel like I have everything documented in this place. It was hard for me. You know, this is my childhood home, and I did not know if I could ever accept having to leave. And so that's part of the song. That's, you know, the rugged warehouse is also a physical place. It's now out of business. Archived, right? It existed at one point in time, but it does not exist anymore. I mean, it might exist in some places, but you know, when it comes to this place, right, the rugged warehouse is what this house has become. I feel like I'm part of the problem. This house got to the way it was because I didn't play my part. I didn't do what I was supposed to do. This house became rugged, literally. Different type of shining. If you watch Stanley Kubrick's film The Shining, you would know that that place, the Overlook Hotel, is big. This place is huge, right? But we're just a family living in a place where it's like too much space for us. Makes you want to go crazy in here. That was one of the bad parts about this place, right? I talk about biases and how I'm biased. I'm biased because, you know, no matter what, I feel like I still hate some things about my life. I feel like we all do. No matter how good it gets, there's always something wrong. So the archives, right? Places, things. What about people? People are one of the main things that I put in this archive. These archives hold plenty of people in my past. People who I no longer talk to. People who I feel like I would still conversate with. But do I know where they are? I have no idea. They are the ghosts in my story. You know, in the chorus, I say that I'm chasing after ghosts. And the ghosts are these people that I don't recognize anymore. That's why I use the green. That's why the green is in the artwork, it's in the video, it's in the promotional art, it's in the promotional things, promotional posts. It's in everything that I've ever done for the song. The green, the night vision green. And the night vision green is one of the main lines of the song as well. I need a night vision because you left me in the dark. That's what this person, and you know who you are. That's what this person did to me. You were my friend, and you disappeared, literally. We had no bad blood before you had disappeared. So I'm chasing after ghosts, trying to find my best friend, and yet they are no longer here, but they are haunting me. I can still feel the vibes. Believe me, I can still feel the vibes. A big chunk of the song, it's like this whole scenario with the relationship. Me personally, I don't know what that is. I really do not know what that is. But I do know that it's basing something off of this non-existent experience. But it's exactly what I would say if I was in that situation, and it would get archived. The archives, it's like the arteries. It's like the important organs that help run the entire system, that help keep the body going. That's what the archives is. It came from this. It came from the dark moment in many, many ways, and it shined light on the subject. The archives is my night vision, and it is how I see through this darkness. That is corny, by the way. Do not talk about it, all right? I tried to sound deep. I'm not cutting that out either. The archives. The archives means everything to me. If you heard that song, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The archives means the first step in growth. The archives means the first step towards happiness, the first step towards clarity, and even the first step